What is good, y'all? This is your boy Easy, the host of the Full Blitz podcast. With me, as always, y'all know who it is. That's that digital doctor, your boy
What
Louie.
up? What's
What's good,
poppin'?
man?
Chilling, man.
Yeah, how's that
Recovering right
California
now. I
life?
went for a run. Oh, it was nice today. I knew you were going to say that. It was so nice today, man. It was beautiful. It was like 70 degrees. Oh, yeah, it was incredible. Went for a run
Man,
by the beach in the sun. Pretty sure I got a little tan. How was it over there?
my man, I'm pretty sure I got a little tan. Coming here looking the same as he did last week in
It's
the
the middle of
80s.
February. Nah, man. I got couple shades today, man.
It's a little something. When he wants a little darkness, he just doesn't shave. That way his facial hair darkens him up. No,
How's the
I'm
weather
good,
over
man.
there?
Today was nice. Was off today, so it was nice. It was still a little cool. It was 55, but sun was out.
Chilly, man.
It was. I don't. Maybe it's just me because I'm a big guy. 55 is
Nah.
like 55 is hoodie and shorts weather. And I enjoyed it. Like, I did not enjoy. Had to go get a new pair of work shoes today. Y'all is hoka. Y'all shoes are comfortable,
Hoka.
but y'all wild as hell for charging $200 for a pair of damn sneakers.
I got a pair. That's what I was running in today. The Hoka Clifton 7s. I
You
got
like
like
'em?
300 miles on them. I mean, I got like 300 miles. Yeah, those have been my running shoes for a couple years now.
I was gonna say, what you got, an odometer on your damn running shoes?
I use well, I mean, definitely got more miles than that, but the recorded outdoor runs, I use the Nike Run Club app.
Gotcha.
I wish we were sponsored. This is a perfect segue to
Hey,
a sponsor right here.
listen, Nike.
So it tracks my runs, and then it also syncs up with my workout app, so everything is tracked. I track everything, bro.
See, Nike, he telling
Come on,
everybody what
Nike.
they can do.
Hit me with
Go
a
ahead.
deal, bro.
Sponsor us. Give me a reason to try to
Trying
lose
to,
some
trying to
weight.
have a check. This could be a check right here.
Instead of this saying my body aches, it could say
There
just
you
do
go.
it.
Here we go. We'll get them.
Before we forget, y'all, if you noticed, Tony Ford, our other co-host, is not with us tonight. Prayers and love go to him and his family while they are dealing with a family loss. Tony Ford, we love you. We miss you. We can't wait to get you back next week, brother.
Yeah, it's gonna be lit when you get back, man.
Absolutely.
Waiting for you,
man.
brother.
But we're going to keep it going. We got a good show for y'all this week. We're going to be looking into what the football teams, the NFL, have coming up. Everybody that doesn't know, March 12th is the beginning of the NFL calendar year. That is when teams can start to sign free agents, and that is also when teams typically start to cut players. Now, one of the players that I wanted to jump into right away because of the reports that are coming out are T. Higgins. All right. If y'all don't know, T. Higgins, wide receiver for the Cincinnati Bengals, franchise tagged last year, wildly unhappy about it. I think the franchise tag was just over 21 million. Rumors are that they are planning to franchise tag T. Higgins again. Now, franchise tag for T. Higgins this year would be north of $26 million. He is a number 2, so that $26 million is probably where he's going to be in a contract that he gets, but Cincinnati finds themselves in a situation that's going to be tough to kind of get out of. You have Jamar Chase, who is looking to become the highest paid receiver and the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history, and rightfully so. Okay, I have him as the number 1 receiver in the NFL. I know some people have his LSU running mate, Justin Jefferson, but Jamar Chase on what, is basically a contract year. What does he do? He goes out, gets the Triple Crown, okay? But for me, what makes T. Higgins so important, and the reason I do not agree with this franchise tag, is they were 1-4, right? When T. Higgins was out last year in the beginning of the season. They went 8-4 after he got back. That is in his production. Even though missing those games in the beginning, he still had 73 receptions, 911 yards, 10 touchdowns, averaged 12.5 yards per catch. That is a dude that you cannot afford to lose, in my opinion. You saw what your team was without him. You saw what your team was with him. Not just that, but you have Joe Burrow advocating for him seamlessly every chance he's asked. But the wide receiver position isn't the only hurdle that they have. They also have a Hendrickson who's coming off a 17 and a half sack year, led the NFL, has done nothing but been the consummate pro, been tearing it up since he got to Cincinnati. I think it was 6 years ago, 7 years ago. Don't quote me on that. But you can't lose one of the most premier or one of the best pass rushers in the league because pass rushers are at a premium right now. I mean, you got teams like the Titans that we're going to talk about later in the show, looking at possibly drafting one and number one overall. So T. Higgins is just that guy that just you can't not have. To have almost 1,000 yards and miss, the first 5 games or 4 games is crazy. So you need to try to figure out how to get that done. And is that looking like, maybe trying to work with Joe Burrow and maybe restructuring his contract, maybe turning some of his contract into a signing bonus, seeing if you can get that done, maybe talking to Jamar Chase and saying, hey, listen, we know that you want this, but we want to try to keep everybody together. Will you give us a quote unquote hometown discount? Now with Jamar, I don't see that happening. It's just, he wanted the deal last year, didn't get the deal, came in, tore it up, showed he was the best receiver in the league. So I feel like Jamar is going to get somewhere north of probably 36, maybe. I mean, if I had to put a number on it. So I'm curious to see what happens. Is T. Higgins going to sign the franchise tag? People forget they don't have to sign the franchise tag. Now, they don't sign it, they don't play. But it's a risk. And for everybody out there, $26 million, that's so much money, yada, yada, yada. We can get into the economics of it. $26 million in Ohio, who has a high state tax, you have federal tax. So by the time you get everything, I mean, you're losing what, 40, 45%, if not more. And I get it. That's still a lot of money to average people. But if you're one of the best at what you do in your job, you want to get paid market value for what you do. So you have to think of that. And if he gets hurt on the franchise tag, now, once he signs that franchise tag, it's guaranteed. Okay, even if he gets hurt, he's getting the entire franchise tag. But what if it's a season-ending injury? What if it is a multi-year injury? Then what? Now he's losing out on money. So I don't know, man. I think Cincinnati's going to find themselves in a really tough situation when it comes to the T. Higgins, contract, because they want to get Hendricks, they want to get Chase. Joe Burrow wants them all there. But I think it's going to be tough to get it done. And I think franchise tagging T. Higgins again is just wildly disrespectful, in my opinion. So we'll pay attention to that and see where we're at with that here in the coming days as March gets here. We still got about 3 weeks before the start of the calendar year. A player who is maybe not as unclear about what's going on is Kirk Cousins. Atlanta really kind of did themselves dirty. I mean, no pun intended. They went out and they signed Kirk Cousins to a 4-year, $180 million deal, $90 million guaranteed. But then you go out and you spend your 8th overall pick on Penix Jr. Kirk Cousins starts the season, really doesn't have the greatest, he started good, but it just didn't really pan out. And later in the year, he's replaced by Penix. And as a rookie, Penix balls out. Cousins, when he got done for the year, he only threw for 3,500 yards. He only had 2 more touchdowns than he did interceptions, having 18 touchdowns, 16 interceptions. And his QBR was, just over 50, which is 3rd, 24th in the league. But where do you go from here? Right? You're obviously not going to have him as a backup. You're not going to pay a backup, $60 million, to be a backup or whatever's remaining from his contract for this year, his cap hit. I think his cap hit would be 65 if they cut him. You're not going to get a trade because nobody's going to trade for that contract. Nobody's taking an aging Kirk Cousins who can't win in the playoffs on a contract like that. That's not happening. So the GM, when I look at it, I don't understand how that GM still has a job. That was bad decision making. And then you justified the decision making by saying, oh, well, we hope to be good enough now that when are we going to be able to be in a position to draft a quarterback like Penix Jr. that high again? And I get that, but why did you invested so much money into Kirk Cousins? $180 million, 90 of it, half guaranteed, for a quarterback who was aging. And I mean, was he a product of being in a Kevin O'Connell system in Minnesota? Because look at this, we turn around and Sam Darnold is dropped in that situation and has an immense amount of, success too. So was it Kirk Cousins or was it Minnesota and their offensive system? Some would say it was the offensive system in Minnesota because of the way Cousins played in Atlanta. And I'm really not going to argue that. I think it's a fair point, and I'm just wondering what's going to happen. Now, luckily for Atlanta, Penix Jr. balled out. They're also in a very weak division. New Orleans doesn't know what they're doing. Tampa with Baker Mayfield is really the only serious threat. I mean, we got to see what's going to happen with Bryce Young in Carolina. We all can admit that Bryce Young looked a lot better towards the end of the year with Carolina. So that'll be interesting. But Atlanta still isn't out of the mix. And if Penix Jr. continues the trend that he was going, I mean, I see that working out. But money and cap-wise, that Atlanta GM did not do themselves any favors. And I'm calling for Kirk to be cut before March 12th. I think they actually want to get him cut. I think they can save $10 million if they get him cut by March 6th. Again, guys, if these dates and stuff aren't quite right, relax. I'm a veteran. I got a bad memory. I know I'm reading them somewhere, but I know y'all will tell me in the comments where I'm screwing up. Appreciate all the comments on the YouTube channel too. Thank y'all. Keep them comments coming. We appreciate them. Let me know what y'all think about T. Higgins. Let me know where y'all think Kirk Cousins is going to go. I would, really like to see what happens. It's going to be interesting. I can't wait for March 12th. I love when free agency starts. It goes crazy. It's going to be wild. Keeping on the Falcons, if y'all haven't seen or heard yet, Keno Neal, longtime 8-year safety, 1-year Pro Bowler in 2017 for the Atlanta Falcons, has announced his retirement. He is going to be stepping away from the game of football. He just, basically says, God has blessed my family and I in so many ways, particularly in the game of football. 20 years ago, I started this journey. Today, I am retiring from the NFL. God's timing is always the right time. Goes on to thank the city of Atlanta, the organization, and of course, the fans in Atlanta. So that's going to be another question for Atlanta. He was a solid player, solid safety. So what are they going to address that in the draft? So we'll have to see what happens with them coming up in the draft. And we're going to get into the draft a little more with what the Titans are going to do with their number 1 pick here in a little bit. Water. This is water from a geisha. It's blessed by an Eskimo.
You seen that SpongeBob movie?
Which one? They got fucking 9 of them.
I don't know. The one that was talking about water. They was hung out. They laid him out to dry. Homeboy caught him in the ocean. He laid him out in the lamp, and it was dried up. And I think it's from a movie. The movie with David Hasselhoff in it.
It's the SpongeBob movie. Yeah, where he's like a dolphin or whatever.
Yeah, something like that.
Obviously, he's in his Baywatch fucking get up or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
See, like good this times. Kind of stuff right here, we got to clip that and put it in like during breaks or whatever. Like make it with that graphic that you made. Mm-hmm. And I think if it's not too much, but I just thought about that. We have some good little
I'd be looking
pieces.
For little clips. All right.
Hey guys, if you are not already, make sure that you head over to YouTube, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell for the notifications so you can find out when all the new episodes are dropping. Make sure to go follow us on Instagram and TikTok, and make sure you are listening to us wherever you get your podcasts.
Yeah.
So getting back into players to watch, as March 12th comes, we got to talk about it. I haven't had a chance to talk about it yet, even though it's been out there. The New York Jets have announced that they are going to be going their separate ways with Aaron Rodgers. Is anybody surprised? I mean, seriously. He's been there for 2 years. When he got there, he basically held the organization hostage. Brought in Nathaniel Hackett as an offensive coordinator. That didn't work out. You brought in, they made him go get Devontae Adams. That didn't work out. So I think it's good for the Jets to separate. Now, what hurts the Jets is they're drafting 7th. There have been rumors that they are a potential trade partner with the Titans. To go from 7 to 1, you're giving up a lot. And again, we'll get into more of the players that are getting drafted or potentially drafted later in the show. But Aaron keeps finding himself in these situations because he's trying to do more than just play football. You're a quarterback. You're not a GM. You're not a coach. You're not an owner. You're a quarterback, Rodgers. Play quarterback. First season, you tear your Achilles. Okay, we get it. Nobody can do anything about that. Second year, you're not really what I would consider. I mean, nobody would say that you played up to your best, right? Like, I'm pretty sure that anybody in their right mind would say that he best. He threw for almost 4,000 yards, but for Aaron Rodgers, that's a little low. 28 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, but had a QBR of 48. I mean, Kirk Cousins ended the season with a QBR higher than that. And it just seemed the whole time he was there, it just seemed disjointed. It didn't seem cohesive. Nobody seemed to be on the same page. I didn't understand wanting to bring in Nathaniel Hackett. He didn't have the same personnel. And I mean, they even brought in Lazard, Rodgers' first year in New York. He basically tried to turn it into the New York Packers. And it just didn't work out. There have been rumors that he has been linked to Tennessee. I'm going to tell you right now, if that bullshit happens, I'm taking all this off the wall. All of it. Okay? I don't want Rodgers. I don't want the problems. I don't want the distractions. I don't want him trying to come in our organization talking about who to bring, who to draft, who to sign. I don't want that. I would like if he's going to play again, which he says he wants to, maybe he stays in New York. Maybe he goes over to the Giants and, is a good bridge quarterback for whoever the Giants draft this year if they can get him at a decent price. What is the price for Aaron Rodgers? That's where I think a lot of GMs and maybe some head coaches are kind of looking and trying to figure out, because he's got to know he's only got maybe a year or two left in reality. And he's got to know that he's not going to command even, I would say, even middle market. So what do you pay him? And can you get him to take a slice of humble pie and get him to fall back and try to maybe understand that, yes, you're Aaron Rodgers, but you're not Green Bay Aaron Rodgers. You're not 2012, 2013 Rodgers. So curb your expectations of what you think you can do and how much power you think you should have with Aaron Rodgers. So I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on him, but, the Jets said that they going their own way. We're going to see what happens. Hey, Dallas, over the last day or so, Zach Martin, arguably one of the best Dallas offensive linemen in the history of the organization, a phenomenal offensive lineman. I mean, this guy is, going to be considered one of the best to not just in Dallas, but to ever play the game. At the age of 34, he has announced his retirement. When I tell y'all he was just on point, he made 9 Pro Bowls in 11 years. Okay. That just goes to tell you how good he is. He was also a first-team All-Pro 7 times. I love this stat, and this is, as an offensive lineman, I love this, right? He had been selected to the All-Pro team 7 times. He had 7 holding calls in his entire career. You want to, as an offensive guard, you've had 7 holding penalties, not in a year, his entire career. Okay, that is crazy. And for a Dallas team that basically didn't run the ball last year, that is a massive loss. That's a hole that they may have to try to fill in the first round when they still have a lot of other needs, running back specifically, which, Ashton Gentry, may have been a good spot for him to land, late first, early second. But that's a big miss for Dallas. Zach Martin was a phenomenal football player, and we'll see how they get back from that. This player, this situation, this topic that we're going to talk about right now is really irritating because you get the headlines and you get all of these other pieces of the story that maybe aren't necessarily right, or you don't have all of the necessary information to make a educated decision on where you stand. But Justin Tucker, the Baltimore Ravens place kicker, field goal kicker, has been accused of sexual misconduct and inappropriate sexual behavior between 2012 and 2016. 2012 was his rookie year with the team. 2 spas have reportedly banned him from returning within those, periods. And the allegations against Tucker, including claims that he reportedly and intentionally exposed his erect genitals, brushed 2 therapists with his exposed, man member. We're not going to say the word. And in several cases left what appeared to be, fluids on a table. Okay.
Hey, yo. What?
Bo. I knew that's why I didn't want to say nothing, right? So
wait a minute, what? That came out of nowhere, bro. You need to warn me and everybody else.
Well, hey, everybody
what?
else, this is a sports podcast, okay? And if you even dabble in sports, like even the slightest bit
but
with
the
football,
details, bro, you got specific.
That's the shock factor, right? I want it because
some type of substance on the table. It's crazy.
What sucks is these are all, now Justin Tucker and his team have come out and denied it, right? Justin Tucker has come out and he has said that he has always carried himself as a professional and things like that. But the reason I want to talk about this is because we just had this problem with Deshaun Watson and these massage therapists. We just had this issue. Deshaun Watson still finds himself in trouble in Cleveland. And not just that, but it's 2025. If this situation happened in 2012 to 2016, why are we just now finding out about it? Especially with the situation that happened with Deshaun Watson. So we are not going to say yes or no or hey or nay. We're not doing that here on this show. We are not taking sides. What we are doing is informing people of what is going on in the sports world. The Baltimore Ravens, of course, have launched their own investigation. The NFL have launched their own investigation. But gentlemen, what are we doing? Like as professionals, as football players, as millionaires, what are we doing? Like why? And then NFL teams, stop putting your players in these positions. Hire team masseuses that will come to their homes or whatever. Like contain these problems. Because either you have a guy on your team that was not raised properly and does not know how to, contain themselves, or they are putting themselves in bad situations by going to sketchy therapists, by going to sketchy, massage parlors or whatever, and things just turning into things they shouldn't. But I don't get how this happens on this level, right? To an article with that kind of detail. How does this happen twice within, what's it been, 6 years, 5 years? Not even 4 years, something like that. How do we do that? And that's why I had to say something, because I'm confused. We have billion-dollar organizations, million-dollar players, and we can't keep this kind of stuff from happening. And if we got guys in the NFL that are treating women like this, just like I said with the Deshaun Watson thing, I don't think Deshaun Watson should be playing in the NFL. I don't think you should be able to make millions of dollars when those kind of things are being said and findings are happening. I just don't like it, and I don't agree with it. So let us know what y'all think of the Justin Tucker situation in the comments. I'm really curious to know. And y'all, I don't want to hear nobody be like, oh, the detail. Y'all can go. This article is literally on the Baltimore Banner, okay, on their sports section. They put this out for everybody to read. Okay, let's act like adults.
That's
Hey,
crazy, man.
it's the
I
shock
guess it gets a
factor.
lot of eyes, though, right?
It is.
It gets it like attention.
I don't understand. And
They resorting to that for eyeballs. That's crazy.
I just don't get it, you know, because it says after the banner published its first report last month, in which 6 massage therapists came forward with allegations, the NFL said it would look into the matter. Since then, 10 more women have shared their stories. So that means 16 women. He ain't getting up to the level of Deshaun because that was wild, but I don't understand. And in a prior statement, an NFL spokesperson said the league officials do not provide details or updates on the review process, and there is no timeline. Okay, kudos to the NFL for trying to figure out what's going on. Right, I'm all for that. But what are we doing? And then again, I don't like the timeline of it. We're what, 11 years? No, it was 2016. Yeah, we're not in, or 9 years at the height of it. We're 9 to 13 years removed from this situation. And I mean, damn, if you tried to accuse me of something I did 12 years ago, I might just have to say, okay, because I don't remember what I did last week. But that is what it is. Do better if you're not doing right. But moving on to the draft. The draft will be, or the combine, moving on to the combine. The combine is going to be held, I believe, in a week and a half. Quarterbacks report on Tuesday, I believe. And we were just informed that, or not, just informed, but over the last couple of hours, we found out that Shedeur Sanders, the quarterback from Colorado, will not be participating in the events at the combine. He will be doing the interviews, and it is unclear if he's going to go through the medical process, but he will throw at his pro day in Colorado. The reason this is big is because he is potentially going to be the number 1 or number 3. He's going to be a top 5 draft pick, almost guaranteed. I'm not a massive fan of the combine, right? I think it's good for guys that we didn't get a lot of tape on, guys that maybe didn't get a lot of national attention. I think it's good for that. But I also think it's bad because you have guys, and I'm going to use this kid as an example, primarily because I'd love to see the Titans draft him, a guy like Cam Skattebo, all right, running back from Arizona State. Okay. He's going to go to the combine, and he's probably not going to perform as well as teams want him to do in the 40-yard dash or the broad jump or the bench press or shuttle, whatever. And he's going to drop down on draft boards. But when you put the tape on and you watch this kid play football, he is a football player. So I don't like how much stock we put into the draft. But for quarterbacks, I do think it is different. I think as a quarterback, especially one that's hoping to get drafted number 1 overall, you need to be able to show these teams, the Titans in particular, they have the number 1 overall draft pick. They want to draft a guy that is an organization changer, a generational talent. Okay? They want their quarterback for the future. And by saying I'm not going to participate at the combine, you're like, well, I don't think it's important. For him, it is important. We know that he can think through and read defenses, but as a quarterback, let's see how he moves. Let's see how he throws. Let's see all of this in a controlled environment to help us make a decision. So I'm not a big fan of him not performing at the combine. Again, I think it's great that he's going to throw at his pro day. That'll give us some of that stuff I'm talking about. I hope he does the medical exams because as a Titans fan, I do not want my team drafting somebody that could potentially have something wrong and we didn't know about it because they didn't do the medical exams. Now, they are scheduled. They are supposed to do them, but we will see what happens. It's important. I really think it is. I think it's important for quarterbacks to do everything they can to put the teams that are potentially going to draft them at ease. And yes, in this situation, quarterbacks are looked at vastly different. Okay? It is what it is, guys. When we get back, we're going to get into the draft, what the Titans are going to do. Are they going to trade? Are they not? And if they do, who could potentially be some of their trade partners? Hey guys, are y'all looking to host a get-together? I have a company Christmas party coming up. Goodfellas Gaming has you covered, offering casino parties of any size and for any occasion. Goodfella Gaming has all the go-to casino games: blackjack, roulette, poker, and craps, and even a few of the special games like Pie Gal, Money Wheel, 3-card poker, and Let It Ride. Not looking for a casino party? No worries. They have a large inventory of arcade games, bar games, pool tables, air hockey tables, pinball machines, and many more of the popular arcade games. Pac-Man, Donkey Kong, Big Buck Hunter, Superbike, and more. Head over to goodfellagamings.com for a free quote today, and don't forget to let them know the guys at the Full Blitz podcast sent you.
Okay.
We got any other small businesses out there
like
that are looking to help get their name out there, get their business out there? Look, go ahead, email the show with your company name, what you provide, where we can find you, and how to get a hold of you. Email the show. We're looking to give free 30-second ads to all small businesses. Email us right here with all that information, and we'll look to get you and your company on the show.
Okay. Spitting on a roll, bruh.
Trying to just lengthen it out because we were expecting the thing, so I didn't have as much content.
I mean, shit. Hey, bro, if the episode is 30 minutes, the episode is 30 minutes. It's okay.
The 30 minutes, it is what it is.
Yeah, man. You don't got to stretch it.
All right.
That just give me more time to edit.
Right? Yeah.
Do more graphics.
Right. But, all right, guys. So, listen. We did the combine. Now we're looking at the draft. We're specifically going to look just at the number 1 overall pick. All right. I've told y'all I'm excited about it. Titans have it. What are their real actual options? All right. We're going to run down who they could potentially pick. We know Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders. We know those two are, listed as the 2 best quarterback prospects in the draft. Cam Ward coming out of Miami, Shedeur Sanders coming out of Colorado. I don't want either one. Okay. I've said that before. I'll say it again. It's not that they're not good players. They're very good players. And I just don't know if they're worth the number 1 overall pick. The other prospects are obviously Travis Hunter, an Iron Man, a true Iron Man, played like 1,000 snaps in college. I mean, just crazy, playing on both sides of the ball as a wide receiver and a cornerback, top 5 player in each position. He wants to play both ways in the pros. I think that's going to be hard. I don't think teams are going to want to have him on the field that much with what they're going to invest in him. So we're going to see how that works out. And then, of course, a prospect for me that I really like is Abdul Carter, right? I love the prospect of Abdul Carter, pass rusher out of Penn State. I think that he's the best player in the draft this year. I would love to see him paired up next to Sweat, Jeffrey Simmons, and then have Abdul Carter, have Arden Key if he stays on the team, if we don't lose him in free agency, or if we don't, we're not able to get him re-signed. That would be a phenomenal defensive line. So to me, though, if we stay at 1, that's it. Those are the 4 players. That's it. There's nobody else. Then when you start to look at the players that are the potential trade, partners, you have the Giants, who could potentially want to jump up to 1 because they like either Shedeur or Cam Ward that much that they want to jump in fear that we might take them. You also have Oakland at 6, who could trade up because they do need a quarterback. If we had a trade with Oakland, I would like to see Max Crosby involved in that trade. There have also been, rumbles that maybe Cleveland would want to trade and swap 1 and 2. I think the only way I would want to do that is if Myles Garrett came with that trade as well. And then, like I mentioned earlier, there were rumors that the Jets would want to trade from 7 to 1. I don't know if I want to drop as far as 7, but if we drop to 7, Will Compton, offensive tackle out of LSU, could be there. Could be the right tackle that we need. Or have him jump into left tackle and move J.C. Latham over to right tackle. But I do like the haul that we could get. The trade block that came out for the Titans and the Jets were the Titans sending the number 1 overall to the Jets. The Jets sending the number 7 overall pick to us this year, a number 2 this year, a number 1 and 2 next year, and a number 2 for 2027. If that is the trade, take it. Take it all day. That is draft capital that could help set this team up for the future and make us competitive for the next 10 to 15 years. I am all the way for that. If it happens, who knows? Like I said, 7, you kind of lose the ability to maybe get one of those guys, but you also have McCarron, the wide receiver out of Arizona, who would be there. That would be a very good pickup for us because I do think it's time for Treylon Burks to go. I think the Treylon Burks experiment was a disaster. I think seeing A.J. Brown lift the Lombardi Trophy with the Philadelphia Eagles this year, I was happy for him, but it hurt. So, yeah, I think it's time for Treylon Burks to go. And we'll have to see what happens with that and whether or not the Titans can make that happen, and then to see if the Titans trade or if they stay in that position and pick. It'll be good to see. I'm excited. We're going to be talking about it more as it gets closer. And then, of course, as the combine happens in this next coming week, 2 weeks, we're going to be getting into that. Going to get into some of the players that, could potentially make some leaps into some higher rounds and see where some of these, big name players go. Where's Will Howard going to go? Quarterback out of Ohio State. Gabriel, quarterback out of Oregon. Jason Dart, quarterback out of Ole Miss. So where are some of these kind of guys going to go? Jalen Milroe, again, quarterback out of Alabama. A quarterback that I've been very critical of with him coming out. Don't think he should have, but we'll see. Ashton Gentry, running back from Boise State. Cam Scatterbu, from Arizona State. And then you have, I always forget this kid's name. It's horrible of me. I'm so sorry. Wide receiver out of Texas. So there's a lot of really good skill players coming out of this year, and there's a lot of really good defensive linemen coming out. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with the combine and how guys perform. But we will get into more of that next week. With that, y'all know what time it is? Do you know what time it is? My favorite part of the show.
Well, I think that's also my favorite part of the show.
I think it is your favorite part of the show. And I am excited for this ridiculous story that I found. Y'all know what that means. It is time for Ain't No Way.
What you got, man?
Gotta start this, right? Gotta start this. One, the story is a little older, right? We typically like to keep things, relatively new, but I saw it. I had never heard of this story, and I loved it because the opening line is Florida man arrested after trying to cross the ocean in a homemade hamster wheel.
What?
Yes,
like
right?
A giant wheel?
So,
or was it like a...
It looks like it's a bunch of buoys that he has turned into, like, what the wheels look like on the back of those, like, ferry boats?
Yeah.
That's what it looks like. Yes. Okay. And
hold up, man.
I can't pronounce this guy's name. Razia Bellucci claimed he intended to run more than 4,000 miles across the Atlantic to London. He reportedly engaged in a 3-day standoff with Coast Guard before he finally agreed to exit the vessel. First off, for those of you that don't know, us military people, we give the Coast Guard a lot of shit. Don't play with the Coast Guard, all right? They got machine guns on boats. Don't play with the Coast Guard, all right? But my question is, first off, I don't even want to drive 4,000 miles. He said he was going to run 4,000 miles. Yeah, that's it. Look at this.
What is, bro? That looks like a giant bomb. That looks terrifying. If I just saw that on the beach, I would think that that's like some type of chemical weapon.
Could you imagine running across the Atlantic? Bro, it's the wildest thing I had ever, he's an Iranian marathon runner. Was intercepted by Coast Guard on August 26, 2023, about 70 nautical miles off the coast of Georgia. First off, damn, He got 70
He was out there.
miles. And then get this, just as Hurricane Franklin was barreling towards the U.S., the eastern U.S., he was fitting to try to run this
So
thing
he was
through a
headed
hurricane.
straight toward a hurricane. That's wild. He's
First
a wild
off,
boy for that.
I don't know if I'm not surprised it said a Florida man. Like that was just.
As soon as you said Florida man, I knew it was gonna be ridiculous. But that
Like who's
actually
doing that?
I mean, it worked then, right? Like
it
if
worked.
they didn't stop him, how far would he have gone?
What I want to know, how much did it cost to make that thing? Because you know something, that might be the cheaper way to get. Oh, I see how he did it.
It's
you know,
like he made a cage and put like air.
He put a ball,
it,
like
right?
you know them balls that you can like get inside and then go down hills and everything.
Yeah.
He was in one of those. The homemade contraption, which Lucci had dubbed a hydropod or his bubble, was made out of metal drums surrounded by an inflatable buoys. The bubble was propelled through the water by paddles lining the vessel's exterior. That's insane. Who's doing that?
Yeah, have you seen
never
this
heard
show?
of anything like this.
Hold up. First of all, have you seen this show? I think it's on Apple or HBO. What do you call it? Max? I don't know what it's on. But it's a show called Florida Man.
Yes.
Have you seen it?
I have seen that show.
So I guess this is one of the stories. I was looking for an actual picture, but I don't know if this is like. I think this is it.
Say
what?
really obvious, really fast that he wasn't a sailor. In a bubble that was lost
crazy.
and was asking for
He's
directions.
in the middle of the ocean,
Bermuda.
bro.
It became
He was asking directions to Bermuda.
He's like,
What?
yo, which way is Bermuda?
Yeah,
in the middle of the ocean.
In a bubble.
He had to be shell. He was tweaking. He had to
Bruh.
be tweaking.
This is what I'm talking about. I mean, I guess that's one way to get to where you got to go.
I mean, yeah, you know, flights are expensive.
I don't care. I'm not.
If you got a bunch of scrap pieces in the yard and you can make a raft or some contraption to get you across the ocean, why not?
Here's what I
For the
want to
free
know,
ski?
right? Like,
Did he even have food in there? Did he have water with him?
where you using the bathroom?
Right. What's is he getting in and out? Can he get
You
in
just
and out?
sticking
Is it
halfway
safe?
out the bubble? Like, he's like, what are you doing?
I mean, 70 miles. He was out there for a minute already, so
Yo,
he
my
must have
thing
had
is
to use the bathroom.
Could you imagine how just absolutely terrifying nighttime must have been out there?
Well, yeah. I mean, if he was out there for how long did it say it took him
It
to
shit,
get
70 miles?
He might have been there like for a couple of days.
Yeah, 70
I don't know.
miles?
Yeah.
So I know I could probably, if like just nonstop, I could probably walk 50, 60
I
miles
guess
in a day.
I guess it's just the wind though that's carrying him. Really.
Yeah,
'Cause
but
if
when you
he's in a
get
giant bubble.
when you get out there, bro, that wind
That's
is
tough.
like what if bro bro like
Not
oh my
even
God.
all like 70 miles out, you can't even see land anymore. So then it's all just
yeah.
flat. So now, I mean, does he have like navigation tools?
How's he
or compass or
navigating?
something?
Is he out there with one of them? What were they called?
That's why he asking for direction. Like if he really was just out there with nothing, that's crazy.
Bruh, that is, like I said, that is why it is on my side of ain't no way for this week. Because that is ridiculous.
I don't have a story. But
That's
that was a
okay.
good one.
That was, right? So when I saw it, I was so upset.
What?
When
I got to
that
do
it
more
said-
research and see this.
When it said 2023, I was like, no. And I was like, I don't care. I'm doing it. I was like, I'm doing it.
I'm gonna watch that episode though of that show. I've seen.
I saw the
couple
one
random
where
episodes.
they got the dude off Craigslist about chopping his fingers off or toes
chopping
or whatever.
his toe
And
yeah,
eating 'em.
that was
Yeah.
wild. But have you seen any other? There's some wild stories on there, yeah.
Bruh.
And this one's on there. I'm about to go watch it.
Yo. But listen, guys, we appreciate all of y'all. Thank y'all so much for the support. We are one subscriber away from 50 on the YouTube channel. Big time for us. All right. And if y'all
We
don't
gonna give
remember,
a shout out to our 50th subscriber.
absolutely.
The
We are
next
going
person
to give
to subscribe, we're gonna
next
shout you
person to
out.
subscribe,
But they gotta
we'll
be number
shout you out.
50.
Yeah, you can't be 51. I mean, beat 51. By all means, beat 51. But then of course,
I mean, we can do a couple shout outs, but
I start shouting all of y'all out. I will shout everybody out.
Matter of fact, everybody get a shout out.
I do, man. Look, run up the subscribers.
All right, don't say that now. We're gonna run up. All right, it's gonna run up 2,000 one weekend.
I tell you, hey, look, I'm gonna let you know. I'm gonna let you know now. If your name is really jacked up, you already know I'm gonna mess it up. So I don't want to hear nothing about it. We're gonna let Louis read them because he can read. I can't read.
Some not names. You know, names are weird, man. People got weird names.
Don't forget too, if you got a crazy story, an ain't no way story that you want us to read here on the show, make sure you email it to us right here. And don't forget, first person to do it that makes it onto the show, we will send you the first personalized Ain't No Way hoodie with the gold #1 on it that only you will have. Hey guys, appreciate all the love and the support. Again, all the comments on the YouTube channels, all of the love on the TikTok channel. Guys, we appreciate it. Keep running that up. Hit that follow button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification button. And as always, keep rocking with us because we are only getting better. Until next week, peace and love, y'all.
Hey, hey. Holla, 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 holla.
I love it.